show for November. Can you imagine? The 30th of November 2022. And welcome to the mailbox. And this is the program that you hear every Wednesday, 5:30, right here on Love 101 FM, the family station. And this program, this is where we challenge, encourage, and empower our men to become all that they were created to become. So greetings, man a man from Warren Point in the Grill. Kevin Bailey, Courtney Murray, Jamaica, So welcome, welcome. I want to tell you this is the last episode in the Parent and Youth Month. So we want to thank you for listening in. And sponsor, and they are your electrical, solar, and lighting people. They have been doing a great job. So I want to thank you so much, First Rich, for believing in the purpose of empowering our men in such a time as this. Courtney, what's happening?
What a go on, Kevin. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the mailbox. Today's topic is life lessons a father need to teach his son or sons. Like as though Kevin has a son, his name is Samuel, and I have one too. We want to know what are some of these life lessons. We know that in some African territories, there are initiation rites and rites of passage. We want to hear some things today. Is what are must teach? What are some of these things? And indeed, it will be open Wednesday. You can all call in. Hey, Kevin, talk to me.
Of course, we want every man and man to connect with us, and we want the ladies to interact on social media, of course. So, guess what, listeners? You get to be our guest. So you are specially invited today. You get to call in. You get to text and voice us all evening. Yes, that is right. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. You can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line 876-997-3125. And you can give us a call on our studio lines of 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. So we want you to call and to participate and to share your perspective. What are the life lessons that a father needs to teach his son or sons? Yeah.
It promises to be an exciting program, informative and educational. So we want you to listen up as we continue with this mailbox season. It's 10th year. We're going into 11th year next year. We're coming closer to the end of 2022, just a month to go. And then we'll be in 2023. What a time we're in. Time flies, Kevin. It is serious. How was
Yes,
your
it is.
weekend, boss? What go on over the weekend? What you do?
Oh God, what weekend? There's so many things happening, but just to say, privileges of sharing worship at my home church, Marvelly Gospel Hall, and sometimes I'm not as often as I should, and so it's good to sit in and be ministered to, and connecting again with the brethren. Plus some other, it's always good to have opportunities. But it was a pretty relaxing weekend, and I appreciate that. Samuel is here for a few weeks. He's gonna be here for Christmas, and so very grateful and thankful. Courtney, who's yours?
Well, I want to give a shout out to Lady Dion Forbes and Lady Alison, her mom. Been traveling in and out of Kingston with them on a Sunday mornings to Transform Life Church. Big up Pastor Dwight Fletcher. They're doing a series called Letting Go. And indeed, it has been quite informative for the last couple of Sundays. And so it really has been something, as you said, to sit and be ministered to, as opposed to you doing the
Mm-hmm.
ministering. It's quite an interesting position sometimes to be fed as opposed to you doing the feeding. And so it has been
So true.
interesting so far. But indeed, you're listening to the program, The Mailbox, which are hosted by men with guests who are men. And today it's a open Wednesday. You can all call in, especially our men. What are some of the life lessons that a father must teach his son or his sons? And we want everyone to know that this is not a program that judges. It informs and it educates and encourages and empowers. So if you have not been doing any other things, we say don't feel depressed. It is a chance to say, okay, let us see if we can try a new technique and see if it works. And that's what we're doing today
I
as we go through this life lesson with our children, especially our sons.
I love that, Courtney, because we have to be humble enough to say what a difficult job being a father is. Some experts believe it's the most difficult job on the face of the earth, and it requires things you have and things you do not have, and requires the entire community and so in humility, we try different things, and we're here to learn from each other. And we would mind if we share and hear from you as well. Want to big up a listener, O'Neill and his wife celebrating 10 years. O'Neill is a person who is into gospel music, big, but is your consummate tourist operator,
Mhm.
driving his vehicle and carrying tourists all over the island as a young man. Love the Lord, love to witness, love to sing. Can tell you all the local artists and overseas in the gospel arena. One day we should have him. He's just an all around person as well. Want to big him up. 10 years of
Mm.
marriage. Yeah, yeah, cool. But we need to shout out to the man then. Yeah.
Congratulations. Yes, we definitely need to give a shout out to the man, but helped some persons today. I want to give them a shout out and tell them they promised me Malta and crackers and are waiting for it. Jacqueline Mason and Shannon Brown. And sure say the next time around I come and give my hand to help like that and have those things ready. But let's give a shout out to the man them. Big shout out to the man
Yeah.
them. All the man them will say big up, big up, big up. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, we want to give you a shout out. Being a man is an awesome responsibility. Kevin after three, two, three. Man there!
Monday. Yeah,
Yes,
man in at the place.
without question.
And so, yeah, yes, Courtney.
So, what are some of these things we want to remind our listeners? You are our guest today. The numbers to call are 876-968-8327, 876-968-8328. Our WhatsApp line is 876-997-3125. Ladies, remember, you can send us those voice notes and text messages on the WhatsApp line. But gentlemen, we're asking you to call. What were some of the lessons you taught your son that you thought needed to have been shared with them? And how successful was it? Was it successful? What have you seen? The scripture says a good father leaves his children and his children's children a great legacy or a good inheritance. And sometimes we think it has to be monetary, but indeed the scripture was referring to principles and practices that will get us through life. Are we teaching our sons how to get through life, or are we at a deficit in the first place as some men? And we probably would have to find programs that will help to assist. Kev, you have an excellent son in Samuel Bailey. Me I go take the time and big you up. His son was the Rhodes Scholar and is the Rhodes Scholar, Samuel Bailey. So it means you must have gotten some things right along with working with your son. I mean, both of you seem to have gotten it right. Tell us a bit about some of the things you do, Kev. More of here.
Courtney, I just have to tell the audience too that you have an excellent son as well who has been doing tremendous thing, and I want to congratulate you and on the work you have done.
Yes, dear.
In humility, we want to be able to share and thank God that some of the things that we taught, we reflected, and some things we didn't teach, or we didn't know that we were teaching. And then there are some things that they just do on their own. You know,
Yes,
they just
yes.
their own personality, and they just do it. But I keep thinking, Courtney, just how many persons have contributed to the growth and development of my son. You know,
Yeah,
just starting from kindergarten, just think of him being at Covenant Christian Academy and what that school, the educators and the teachers, they did a marvelous job, and the program that they had, the way they every day and incorporated it in the syllabus as well. That was the foundation for Samuel. Uh, Arden High School. He actually spent 2 years in Bermuda, 2.5 years. So he was at Delwood, the middle school there, and have to honor all of
hmm,
those educators as well in Bermuda that contributed to his education. Then Arden High School, University of the West Indies, Norman Manley Law School, and that is just one section. You think about the church community now. Oh gosh,
yeah.
Marvelly Gospel Hall, and so many aunts and uncles and people who were there to help and support. That was just it's just amazing. And then Solo Field, which is his church, as well, and the
Wow.
support. But I could just stop there and let you share some of the stuff to Courtney. But I just wanted to underscore the importance of the community in
Yes.
helping as well.
Thank you, Kevin. You know, Cal John George Morrison, CJ as we call him,
Mhm.
is really a
Yeah,
fantastic young man. That's my son. I literally look up
yeah.
to him. He's 6'1". I'm only 5'7.5". So I literally have to look up to him.
That's right.
He's brilliant. And it's interesting that you would speak about the community that raised him. This is Parent Month, and I've been to some schools here in Portmore speaking at their Parent Month sessions, and the theme is Reignite the Village. And it is so
Hmm.
great to know, indeed, his mother, his sisters,
Hmm.
the church community, and I'm going to pluck a little feather out of my hat. You know, Felter Portmore, which I am the pastor for the past 13 years, which he attends.
Uh,
I'm hope but his peers, the football, he went to Ascot Primary, big school, them
hmm.
wear purple, big school. Miss
Yeah.
Jean Ferron and the community there, and your son Samuel and Cal John share something similar in the fact that they
Hmm.
both went to Arden High School and the University of
Yeah.
the West Indies. He's an
Good.
actual scientist. So, so them people, the maths thing, turn up,
Matt's brain.
turn up,
Yeah.
turn up good, you know. And so he got married in December last year. So himself
I
and
tell you.
Camille doing well and they are moving forward. So he's a son, I can say, like the Lord said of his son. He's my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. He's doing well. Well, so big up CJ. You might not be listening now. I don't know if you're on the way home, but indeed, a son in whom I am well pleased.
No, great, great. And I think we're just about the time for a break now. And listeners, we are going to take a break, go to the studio, then we'll be right back. This is the mailbox on Love 101 FM.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man.
Christmas here, are you ready? Burgess colors I am choosing. Paint a home you'll adore, get prizes galore. Shopping in a Burgess Wonderland.
Win an 8-day Caribbean cruise, gift vouchers, save 15% and more when you purchase 2 gallons or more of Berger paints at any color shop or participating hardwares. For entry details, visit BergerPaintsCaribbean.com today. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Burgess, for lasting beauty and protection.
Crime Stop Jamaica 311 unsolved. We need your help to solve the murder of 73-year-old Patrick Lawrence, a businessman and motel operator of 12 Top Road, St. Anne's Bay. A customer tried to rent a room at 10 p.m. on Saturday, 14th of May 2022, but couldn't find Mr. Lawrence. The police were summoned on Sunday morning, and Mr. Lawrence's body was discovered close to a staircase with wounds to his head. Crime Stop and Concerned citizens are offering a total reward of $750,000 for information leading to an arrest and charge. Call Crime Stop Jamaica 311. Solving crime pays.
It's almost Christmas, and Fosbridge is inviting you to Christmas in November super sale. November 21 to December 1. Enjoy massive discounts on lighting, chandeliers, wall lamps, electrical plugs, wires, conduits, and so much more in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Christmas come early, and we'll be unwrapping massive discounts of up to 60% off. It's Christmas in November super sale. November 21 to December 1. Only at Fosbridge.
When you say Fosrich, you say electrical, SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say Fosrich, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say Fosrich, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Fosrich is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Fosrich.
Precious moments we share with you, everything's so right. Malta, you're full of life.
The time by Malta is...
It's exactly 10 minutes to the hour of 6 right here at Love 101 FM, your family station, the number one gospel station in the nation. Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. I'm Pastor Courtney Morrison, and with me is my co-host Kevin Bailey. We've been doing this for the past 10 years, going into 11. And indeed, we're talking about the topic, life lessons that must be shared with a son. And such, we've been talking about our two sons, Samuel Bailey and Kyle John George Morrison. You know, Kyle John is a Brazil enthusiast, you know, World Cup going on, Neymar Jr., all the best Brazil. You know, my side is Spain. But indeed, he plays football as well, and he does it quite well. He has had persons like Andre Virtue, who's a part of Ballers training program, and so he does quite well at football as well. Quite a gentlemanly young man. This man is, you know, far supersedes what it is. I love this man. So can't imagine. You know, his wife love him. But we're talking about life lessons, and remember, you too can participate. Today is an open Wednesday, and you know the numbers to call are 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. WhatsApp line 876-997-3125. Again, this is the program hosted by men with guests who today are men as well, but you are our guests live, and we want you to share. Okay, was there anything in particular that you believe that you needed to share with Samuel? Shared with him?
Yes, just thinking about this big his son was reflecting.
You seem to be breaking up a bit, Kevin.
Can you hear me now?
We're hearing you, but you seem to be coming in and out.
Right. Just saying that. Can you hear me recording?
I'm hearing you, but in
Was
pieces.
saying
I'm hoping that
the fact that I didn't know my father.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right. I was just saying there was some deficit in the fact that I didn't know my father.
Right.
And so the experience was very challenging, but I learned from other men in the church,
Right.
and that's the benefit of the community again, as to adopt some men as men, as it were, and that helped me as well. But I really believe that as men, there are just some things we could teach, and I'm saying this in trying to get the men to share as well. I believe that we we want to be able to give our sons unconditional love. I think that's a big thing. I
Yes, it
would love,
is.
yes, love him to get it, that he's
Yes.
loved by me, and my wife does a great job of that, convincing him that she loves him.
Yes.
And so that was one thing that I knew I wanted, and specifically because I did not have my father, I know how it felt, and I wanted to convince my son that he was loved as is, where is, what's and all, with all the imperfections, and all I wanted him to do was to do his best. So he will say to people that his parents just said to him, "Just do your best." And if your best was a B or a C, all I needed to find out is one question: did you do your best? And once he said yes, I said, "Great job. Done. Finished. Just tell me, did you do your best?" And the next time, just do your best. So that I start off by saying that, and I hope, and this I think, for fathers, how can we convince sons by our behavior that they are loved unconditionally in a way that they come to believe it? So Courtney, I would put that out there.
Yes, Kevin, I agree with you 100%. And based on what I'm hearing you saying, a good father, well, a father must teach his son what it means to be encouraged and to empower his son into walking into life. Giving him the confidence, helping him to know that he has the support at home. So I hear you talk about unconditional love, and I'm hoping we all listen. That unconditional love, the support that is sometimes lacking, especially when it comes on to our sons out there in society. And as you said, even the shortcomings that we may have had as sons, not necessarily seeing our fathers all the time, not being where they are, in your case, not knowing your dad at any point, but recognizing that regardless of where we're at, that it is, and this sounds a bit biased, but it's just the truth. It is our blood that flows through their veins. You know, I remember when I learned that lesson firstly was actually in a biology class, and it's the reason we do paternity tests and why the blood of Jesus could not be contaminated, because his blood was his father's, and that's why it was pure. And I often wonder why men talk about a bloodline and leave it and they want a youth. We therefore have to understand if it is in the genes and if it's in the blood, then we have life lessons that we must impart to our children. And today, because we're talking particularly about sons, that
Yes.
it is most important that we do so. So that sort of love, unconditional love, the encouragement, the empowerment, building their confidence so that they stride into life looking strong. But that unconditional love, men, we as fathers, we need to teach our sons how to hug, how to love. Let them know even, and I don't know anybody gonna bake me and roast me for this one, but it doesn't matter. Kiss your son, kiss him on the forehead. Let him know that he's loved. You know, teach him
Definitely,
that
Courtney.
love is a sound foundation for him to be propelled into life, achieving so much. He will share that with those around him. And so once that is done, I guarantee you're setting up one of that good inheritance that he will leave with his children and his children's children.
No, you're correct, and I'm glad you touch underscore the importance of physical touch and kissing your son and being affectionate, uh, and it is so lacking in our society. So we have to be deliberate and intentional. And the research is saying, as a father, we're a parent, right? We're we're collaborating with the mother. Love and limits help sons to find their center, to feel feel a sense of security. So there's the unconditional love. We teach them limits. There are consequences for choices and behaviors. And we want to be able to enforce those things we want to go right. And in other words, to apply discipline in a way that allows them to have boundaries, healthy boundaries. So balancing love and limits, or some people say support and control,
Yes.
it's something we want to. And we're saying this not that we have arrived, nor are we perfect in it. But the research active
Kevin, hi there, Kevin. You seem to be having
Jordan
difficulty.
Simpson.
Mhm.
Ye- Yes, Courtney, Jordan Simpson says,
She's
good
from
evening,
Salisbury,
Brother
Maine.
Kevin and Courtney. Yes, he should teach his son to respect woman and to treat a woman good and to cook, to wash, to iron, and to love women. So, Jody, thank you very much. You are reminding us here that a father should teach his son to respect women, to treat women good, and to be able to cook, wash, iron, and to love women. Courtney, big things. Courtney,
I,
can you cook? Can you wash? Can you iron? Can you do you love women?
I like that last one. Yes, I do love women. I can do all of
Yes,
the above. I can cook and wash. The ironing
yes,
I don't really like, so I don't do it very well, but I can do it and I do it. Um, I
yes,
grew up in a family where we were five siblings of us were brothers way down before our sister was born. So we were
yes,
taught by our mother, by the way, to wash, cook, clean, sew, all of them things. I
yes,
mean, my
yes.
brother Mike was and Dave, those two can sew. Them guys good.
Mm,
And we have to be reminded even from scripture that when you look at Esau and Jacob, that there was one son who could cook so good that when his father tasted the food, him have to lick him finger. It was man could have cooked a peas porridge, the man. Not even stew peas taste so good. That
yes,
he was good, and it is sad that he had a brother, and it's amazing that that brother who was a liar and a swindler actually became Israel,
mm,
Jacob,
yes,
and
yes.
it shows that even as men,
Amazing.
even if we start out a particular, and I want to say this to fathers and their sons, even if we didn't start off on the right footing, we don't have to end up that way. Jacob is a prime example of a father who eventually had 12 sons, whom had the task, the job, basically what that we saw through scriptures of raising those 12 wonderful Israelites. I see we're up on a time signal, so we're going to come right back at this interesting juncture. Remember, men, we need for you to call us. We want to hear from you. The number is 876-968-8327, to call us and share some of the life lessons you shared with your sons, or life lessons that you believe your sons need to hear, or those who are listening. We'll come right back after the break.
I am a man, yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man. Man.
This Friday, Love 101 joins the Transformed Life and Destiny International Ministerial Alliance as they present the Pastors and Leaders Conference 2022 in association with the Independent Churches of Jamaica under the theme Leadership and Church Growth in Post-Pandemic Jamaica. It's an all-day conference scheduled for this Friday, December 2, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., geared for pastors and leaders, with speakers, host pastors of Transformed Life Church, Reverend Dwight and Reverend Joan Fletcher, Bishop Jesse Giddens, and Dr. Rowan Paul Earl from the USA. Love 101 will bring you highlights of the opening session at 9 a.m. Listen for a taste of what will happen during this leadership conference. The program Something More with Bishop Harold Blair will be aired immediately after. That's highlights from the leadership conference presented by Transformed Life Church this Friday, December 2 at 9 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
When you say phosphorus, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say phosphorus, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say phosphorus, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Phosphorus is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Phosphorus.
Hey, my peeps, get this on the regular. Your HIV status if you consider. At least if a test once a year. Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Cause it might not show up on your timeline and you learn too late, so you're out of time. A progressive future, mandatory. Really long life, our story. You hear?
Remember, update your status in a real life. Go HIV test today.
Just 15 minutes and your status clear. Really long life, our story. Real long life was a youth coming from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Sweet because the vibe guys love the taste.
The time by Grace. Taste that moves you is
4 minutes past the hour, 6 p.m. right here this Wednesday, November 30. We continue with the program, The Mailbox. Kevin and Courtney here. And we're talking about life lessons a father should be teaching his sons. I want to go back to Jody Ann Simpson from Salisbury Plain, commenting, teaching to respect women. I believe with all my heart, Kevin, that with the unconditional love, he not only learned to respect women, but also learned to respect others and his peers. I know we're focusing these days mainly on our women, but the violence and disrespect of men towards men is far more grievous than when we look. It's our men who are killing men. So we can talk about a lack of respect for life, and they're killing women and children as well. But in terms of the percentage of deaths, our men are the ones that seem to die more. So if we teach them the unconditional love, the respect towards their own peers, their own sex, and for the other sexes and genders, will indeed happen. I think it will just pour out of them as well. So teaching them, yes, love and respect women, but also to honor and respect men as well. I think crime and violence in Jamaica, is a big part of that is because as men, we hurt, and we need to teach our sons this other life lesson, that you are an emotional being. You are given emotions. They are godly things. They should be expressed. They can be expressed. And not because you shed a tear or cry means you are weak. And so another one of those life lessons that we should teach our sons is that be careful of what you are taught that a man, in terms of him being a macho man, is that can cause you to have severe downfalls. And when we look at what happened to our men in terms of mental illnesses, because some of our fathers are teaching our sons. I never knew this one until I encountered a program 2 years ago. That man don't say them sorry. I was shocked, because one things that I know I taught my son is this: you're never too big or too old, or is there any position that you could hold in life where you're not able to say that you were wrong? Learn how to say you're wrong.
So true.
The level of humility is necessary. Learn to apologize when you are wrong. Learn how to forgive when you are wronged. Important life lessons. And I think those are basic principles that everything else rests upon. And with that sort of solid foundation, our sons will display great qualities, and their character will be one that is so concrete that nothing can fall them.
Courtney, just want to remind our listeners that the studio lines 876-968-8327. That's 876-968-8327 or 968-8328. WhatsApp line 876-997-3125. We want your participation. We want you to interact with us. So please give us a call. Please keep the comments coming as well. So, Courtney, what you're saying is so very, very important. We want to be authentic. You know, the saying is many of the lessons are caught and not taught. No, you have
Yes.
to do both, right? You have to model the behavior because our sons they're looking at us and they learn a lot by modeling. That means they're seeing the things that we're doing. They're seeing how if we're prioritizing our spiritual relationship with God, which is a lesson we want them to seek first the kingdom of God. We want to prioritize our spiritual relationship so they would want to see us prioritizing that. What does that look like? So I believe we would want to teach them to love God. We want them to love self and to love others. I like that in the sense. Personally, I believe if we teach them to love God, they have an anchor that cannot fail, even when you are not here, because things may happen and the thing is you die. But if you leave them that inheritance, that legacy, where no matter what happens to them in life, they can trust God, who is all knowing and all powerful. That's great. And loving self, we can talk a lot about that because that is so important. Not being selfish, self centered, or narcissistic, but recognizing that they're fearfully and wonderfully made. Warts and all, big nose, dark, your eye not neat, whatever it is. That God just made you and you are perfect in His sight. You're enough. And that's a big thing coming from slavery and colonialism and still the wrong messages that continues to put us down, especially those from African descent and black people, but other people as well who face racism or other stuff like that. Recognition of being comfortable in their own skin, that they can
Yes.
go anywhere and recognize that they are creating the image of God. They have a voice, they have a place on planet Earth. They're going to make meaningful contribution. We need to be able to convince them of that. They have the humility, but as Courtney said, they must be confident in that humility that they can share. We have a caller online, Courtney, so let us take the caller. Good evening.
Evening, Courtney, and evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Just want to say that it's a good program, and I really like the topic. You know, one of the saddest thing about these good programs that we have as Christians, they're not shared more, you know, like in churches and stuff, because the only way we're going to transform the fathers if we really do these programs more everywhere. But nevertheless, good program still. I like the topic.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you.
You know, we appreciate especially calls like those. And it's so true. It's so true. We need to be out there more helping. You know, Kevin, there's something that you said that I so want to comment on where you talk about loving yourself, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
love of God, the love of yourself, because that's when you recognize, especially as sons, your true identity that you are a king or a prince, and that a king lives within you, and that there's greatness within you. And I
Yes.
believe if we are able to teach our sons that, then their outlook on life will be much different. Again, the issue of respect will flow. The issue of how we treat our peers and how we treat our women and how we treat children, how we treat the elderly
Mm-hmm.
will become something that is great. loving yourself and recognizing, knowing your identity, knowing who you are is important as a son. The levels of accountability that you'll encounter as you continue to progress in life, very important. How to deal with discouragement. How to deal with, and some of us as men don't seem to even readily recognize, how do we deal with depression?
Yeah.
And depression, by the way, is not something where there's a prescription how long you will stay in or how long you will stay out. I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday on the hill where I go exercising, and I said, it's amazing when we look at the prophet Elijah. Here he is, confidence in the world. The God that answers by fire is God.
Yeah.
Teasing Baal prophets, shout a little louder. Probably your God is on vacation. And at the end of it, all these prophets are dead. And then Queen Jezebel gives an edict. You shall be dead tomorrow. And he runs and go and hide. You just kill 700 prophets. You just ask God to answer by fire. And you hear one little decree. And you run, go and hide. Not only do you run to hide, you sink into depression so much. And persons probably don't even want to say it, that he wants to die. And God himself have to come and give him water from the brook Cherub, make a jungle come feed him some food, to help to revive him and encourage him. And he was all alone by himself. He went into hiding. And so it is something that we need to recognize. Moses, who defended his own people, he ran away from Egypt because of defending it. He just killed an Egyptian, defending his Hebrew people, and his own people say, we know what you do, And he goes into, quote unquote, not necessarily the word want to be used, into hiding. But he went and he developed a different life. He had a burning bush experience, yet when God said, okay, after the burning, let's go, Moses tell God he cannot talk. And so our men tend to be at a place where we need to just stop, reevaluate, and move. We're up on a break again. And so we're going to come right back after this break in our final segment. You're listening to the program, The Mailbox, on Love 101 FM. Right back after these messages.
Strong man. Integrity man.
International gospel music ministers Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain from Maverick City take the stage live at the National Stadium alongside Kevin Downswell, Carlene Davis, Rhoda Isabella, and Rondell Positive as Kingdom Culture presents the Well Encounter, the ultimate worship experience. National Stadium, Saturday, December 10. Early bird tickets at spuropen.com/TWE22. Follow on Instagram, the Well Encounter Experience. Sponsored by Purity, Sadcor, Love 101 FM, Grace, Pepsi.
Learning about credit cards. There's a lot to learn about credit cards, but here are some frequently used terms to help you on your journey. APR. This is the interest rate for outstanding amounts expressed as an annual percentage rate. Annual fee. This is a fee cardholders are charged every year for having the facility of a credit card. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
It's almost Christmas, and Phosphorus is inviting you to Christmas in November Super Sale. November 21 to December 1. Enjoy massive discounts on lighting, chandeliers, wall lamps, electrical plugs, wires, conduits, and so much more in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Christmas come early, and we'll be unwrapping massive discounts of up to 60% off. It's Christmas in November Super Sale. November 21 to December 1. Only at Phosphorus.
This Christmas, get prizes galore shopping in a Berger Wonderland. The time by Berger for lasting beauty and protection is
17 minutes past 6 right here in the evening. You're listening to Love 101. The program is The Mailbox. It's Courtney Morrison and Kevin Bailey as we share lessons our sons need to learn or should need to know as they go and progress in life. We spoke about Kyle John, which is my son, and Samuel Bailey, two young men that are doing exceptionally well. And so we too would like for you to recognize it takes a community to raise a child. And so we are giving credit to everyone, mother, uncle, friend, you name it. The village scene has changed a bit, and indeed, the theme for Parents Month is Reignite the Village, which means that there was some fire there before and it went cold. We have a caller on the line. Let's take this call.
Hello.
Caller, good evening. Welcome to the mailbox. How are you?
Good evening. Good evening. Fine. Wonderful program it is. The man is a son or his son out to be a natural man, right? And so not to be crying like I just hear you said something like the father was teaching the son not to cry because crying like is like a girl, but still you can cry. You have feelings too because Jesus Christ showed that he has compassion. So when the man cry also, he shows that he has compassion in his family and growing up and teach them how, teach them more like a man, not to be a girl, to be more firm, to be more stand up, not to be like a weak fence, but to just stand up to his responsibility and show love because a man who show love is the greatest lover. The greatest lover. That is. So that's my it about it. All right?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your contribution.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. And Kevin.
Yeah.
I know you know when you used to say poetry with Kevin and Robin. I remember all those years.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, caller. Yes, indeed, this is the same Kevin from the days of Kevin and Robin. The wall must come down. The walls of Jericho, they must come down. Yeah, man. I'm a Kevin and Robin fan.
Hey,
Must tell you.
Courtney. No, but thank you. Courtney, I was just reflecting on the roles that our society expects of us, especially as fathers, and the Bible underscores it. For instance, to be providers, providers in the sense of providing for families. And this is something we have to teach or remind our sons that you have to earn. One of the deep emotional needs of wives is financial security, then taking care of family, education for children, and all the things that are needed. So just using your talents, abilities, giftings to earn and to work, and it liberates you, builds your self-confidence as well, and it allows you to operate in your purpose. So being provider, being protector, mentor, and a friend, and I think the friendship is something that we shy away from, because in a way we were taught is like our sons should be afraid of us. We should drive fear into them so that when they hear daddy coming, them tremble or people get quiet, which is very unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. God, like the Father, deserves respect, but he wants intimacy. He wants us to come close to him, especially when we're having difficulties, but at all times. And as replicating what a father looks like, we want to do that for our sons. We want to be the first one that they run to if they're having difficulties, if they're having challenges. We don't want them to be afraid of us. Respect us, yes, but we want to operate in a sense of intimacy and friendship. Yes. So I wanted to underscore that, Courtney.
We have to come to a place, Kevin, and that's all right. We have to come to a place where we need to somehow change the trajectory of what used to be and get it in line with what it needs to be. And so many of our men and still teach their sons quite a number of things which we call toxicity. And we have to be careful that we are thinking that that toxic behavior somehow is the healthy behavior. And so we have to do something to help there. We have a voice note as well. Let's take that voice note as right now.
Hey, good evening to the mailbox. It's been a while.
Good evening.
Hi.
For me, I think
Hey.
one of the most important life lessons a father should teach his son is how to be a real man, not just a man. Most importantly, how to treat a female. Because I think most of the abuse that we are seeing today against females by our males is because his father never sit him down, never taught him that, a female is not a beaten stick. She is to be loved and taken care of. And I think once his father instilled that in him from his young, we have a better society. Big up yourself, Kevin and Courtney, and I'm out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
So
you.
Tracy.
Yeah.
Kevin, again, we're hearing a similar thing from Jody and Simpson, now hearing from Sir Tracy. But I want to underscore by saying again, if we learn how valuable we are and our identity as men, there are some things that will work well. If we learn to love ourselves, learn that we're kings, learn indeed who we are in the image of God, there are some things that will work itself out. We have really seen, we have caught some things that have been modeled before us, and we are thinking that's the way men should behave, especially our sons, and we need as older men to apologize to our sons. We have not been doing so well so often, and as such we want you to be able somehow to see the right, and who knows, help to keep us on our P's and Q's and get it right, so that indeed we are shaping and molding a character for the next generation that is one that is excellent.
So true, research says that we need to teach our children four foundational truths, and this applies to our boys or men. One, we need to convince them that they're loved unconditionally. Secondly, we want to convince them by words and behavior that they are valuable, they have value, high worth, and would they look at themselves if they believe that they are valuable. Thirdly, that they are capable, they're competent, they have talents, abilities, giftings, unique DNA from God Almighty. Everyone very well on planet Earth. And finally, that they are forgivable, that they're not going to be perfect, they're going to make some mistakes. And that is fine if we confess He's faithful and just to forgive. And we are able to forgive them. In fact, when the baby falls, we don't say, sit down, don't try and walk again, don't try and walk. No, we encourage them to walk again. So this is the principle and something we must always have in our head, that yes, even in the midst of failure, we must be able to forgive. You mentioned it, Courtney. Many of our sons now are crying and they're doing some stuff because they feel condemned as they can't turn. We want to be able to forgive them because they are forgivable. It's a part of loving them unconditionally and knowing that they will come back, they will return. And I'm speaking to many a father who looks for their son to return in so many ways. We're here with you as well. So, how
And so,
can
Kevin,
we communicate to them?
and so I'm one of those fathers
Yes,
who
Courtney.
want to apologize to our sons. Forgive me for not living completely the way I should, so that you have all the perfect things to model and live by. Indeed, we don't want you to come to a position of us as fathers saying, do what we say, but not what we do. Yet we want you to know what is right and what is wrong. Go past us. Live better than we did. Let your character be molded by that of the Holy Spirit. And indeed, lives will be transformed round about. And we have a great hope. We're depending on you, sons. We're depending on you. We're not putting the responsibility directly on your shoulders. That's ours. But we're depending on you to rise above where we were. Not true, Kev?
No, definitely. Jesus looked at his disciples, men who would deny him and betray him and doubt him and, quarrel who would sit on the right and the left. And he said to them, guys, you're going to do greater than me, greater than I. And I want to say that to our sons, you are brilliant. You have an amazing brain that God has deposited inside of you. You are going to do greater things than us. You are going to expand. You're going to let the kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. You are there, and we are believing in you. So thanks so much for forgiving us and help us to continue to work together, Courtney.
Yeah, I really love that. Thank you for forgiving us. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
This program this evening, I know some persons were listening for some other things to that we said, but we're saying love your sons unconditionally. Encourage, build their confidence. While they respect you, they must not be afraid of you. Yes? Teach them humility. Teach them that they're emotional beings. Teach them to love themselves. They're forgivable, capable, and valuable. If they learn all those things, and if we pass that on as fathers to our sons, then we'd have left our sons a good inheritance, and not just our sons, but their sons as well.
Yeah.
Awesome time, Kevin. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. So, thanks to our producer Tony K. Bromfield, to our technical engineer, that's Timoy Butler, to our listeners, our participants, listeners. Remember, you can like and share and comment on each episode on our YouTube channel. Previous episodes are also available for viewing, and so you can visit Love 101 FM Jamaica.
Catch you next week, same place, same time. This was the Mailbox, and it was sponsored by Fosrich Company Limited, your electrical, solar, and lighting people, and brought to you by Love 101 FM, the family station. Next week there. Let's up, Kevin.
Yes. Strong man.